Good morning and welcome to Frank's School on the 29th day of the 7th year, the first video. Um, I'm going on with the making of resurrection. I'll say more about that in a minute, but I've got this photograph here one more time because there were some things I realized I hadn't said that I really should say. One thing that's pretty important is back in here in the woods. It was not there at the time of this photograph, and it really would not be seen very easily now. There's what I call a goat fold, like a sheep fold. There's four folk huts that are fenced among them. It's not completed, but it could be completed very quickly. And it could hold the goats. That's to be, it's maybe about here. That's actually to be the center of a campground, which I may or may not use. But it's there available to control the animals. Casey had told me if you're going to have animals, you've got to have some way to come up with those animals and, somebody to control them. Well, I can control them, but they'd be around me all the time, but I could confine them there and then let them out, the goats. Well, the horse would probably make a lot of noise if she was confined here, but anyway, I wanted, that's there. Another thing that would serve as, if this film is really made and there's a crew that have to come, they'd have to be quite a crew. But they could camp out. I think they would have to be willing to camp out in that area. And all their stuff, it wouldn't be seen, it would be hidden. You can get there with a vehicle. All right, so that. Another thing, the dance would be right here. And I don't know if I said that. That space right in there, it might be a little small. Well, it'd be about right, I think. And I think of it filmed from above with a drone. And I think of two things. One, the dance at the end of Much Ado About Nothing. But also the opening shot in Shakespeare in Love, where the camera goes down inside the Globe Theater. People think of it as probably the Rose, really, and it spirals its way down. That's the opening shot. Well, that would be sort of how I think that whole dance could be filmed. And one other thing. So the goat fold, I mentioned that. My name I give to the mountain is Maker Mountain. I just threw that in there. The gardens. Well, they weren't there yet, and I call them impossible gardens because it's just about an impossible place to have gardens. They're here and they're here. But I have a neighbor about 3 miles away, but you could walk there, and he and his wife have fabulous gardens of the very kind that people nowadays idealize, and he, I'm sure, would help me. The one thing is his gardens are laid out on straight lines, pretty much all, whereas my gardens are on contour lines. But that would be available as a way of kind of cheating a little bit on seeing things that aren't quite there. All right, so this was about location, Maker Mountain, and the reason I've got simple gifts there is I realized that when it comes time for the credits at the end, this is when I was talking about the soundtrack, I said you'd go back to the dance and let the dance music run as people were walking out. I think simple gifts might be a better choice there. It would have no other place in a movie. It would be a brand introduced right there. But that would be, I'm talking about the tune, "'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free." That might be a better choice right there. All right, and the weather, I have it down because we're looking at, I think it's later today, the winds are going to pick up. It's going to be very hot, very windy, and then we got about a week of not bitter cold, but cold weather. So I've got a week still before I can go out and actually be doing the resurrection, which is more my speed. I'm a carpenter, I'm not a filmmaker. All right, now, the whole name that I think of today is The Making of Resurrection. That is the movie Resurrection. And it's also the making of a new and ready-made dream. I mentioned Robinson Crusoe, or not that, Swiss Family Robinson, or Mysterious Island. Swiss Family Robinson really would probably be the one to use, as that was a dream for, and maybe continues to be so for some people, but for 100 years or more it was a dream. Well, this is also would be a dream. It's not quite real. But close. It's got to be a believable dream. And the thing is, it'll be ready-made. It's one of the reasons I'm in quite a bit of a hurry to get this made. It needs to be there and ready-made because times are changing. They're changing fast. And young people maybe don't realize that yet. But somebody like me, who for 50 years have waited in frustration to see the changes that were needed, now they're coming. Like within a period of about 3 years, they've really speeded up, and they're probably going to go faster and faster. As they change, as the modern economy, world economy, and centralized structures hit the wall, there is going to be rebellion, there's going to be protest, there already is. If you go to France, or think of Venezuela, and you can see it. There will be violence. There's going to be a lot of blame. Whose fault is this? Why did it happen? I sort of want to get rid of the blame because that's not going to be very useful. There will be desperation. And I think the word is charlatans, maybe. The charlatans are going to arise who have, oh, they're the one, there's the answer. That can happen very fast. I think people, I see it happening fast, and I bet there are others out there who also realize, whoa, this is fast. Some of the people I know, they just suddenly shut up with their criticism and stuff because it's happening right underneath them. All right, so that's why I say ready-made. It needs to be there as a dream for people to then try to go. If at least if you're of my thinking, which is about degrowth and decentralization, etc. The old man stays. I just threw that in there. It occurs to me at the very end of the movie that the old man, Marion, I always imagined he would leave with his daughter Bryn, but maybe not. Maybe he'll stay, because some of the others, or maybe all of the rest of the others, will stay at that village. But Bryn goes. She's going to go back to her mate. She'll go back up on the mountain, if you will. All right, now this. Let me explain about this. Yeah, I have no credentials to make a movie. I have credentials as a rough carpenter. But anyway, so how do I come up with the nerve to do this? Well, I thought of a story. I'll make it quick. I was in New York City, the Twin Towers. When they were still there was a restaurant at the top of one. And my wife and I were being hosted so generously by my cousin and her husband. And, this is like country mouse and city mouse. I had no place in New York City. That was the last place in the world I would want to be. But they wanted to show us a good time. And so they booked a place, and we had a meal in the restaurant at the top of one of the Twin Towers. And when we were supposed to order our drinks, I drink beer, old German, if they were cheaper, less advertised beer, I'd probably drink that as well. To me, hard liquor is just various flavors of poison. I really don't like. But anyway, we were supposed to order our drinks, and a beer just somehow wasn't going to go. So they went around and came to me, and I said, well, I'll have a Tanqueray. I don't even know how to write it. Tanqueray and tonic. And everybody busted out laughing. And I thought, oh, what's the matter? What have I done? Isn't that a drink, Tanqueray and tonic? But what they were laughing at was that I would come up with something so specific, knowing my character. And, how that happened was that I had been in California, I think it was at my sister's wedding maybe, and I'd been talking to a guy who ordered a Tanqueray and tonic. And we had gotten talking about, I think Tanqueray's a kind of gin, I don't know. We'd been talking, or I was asking him about, why it was with Tanqueray. And he said, did he know a lot about drinks? He said, no, he doesn't really. He just knows what he likes. And what he likes is Tanqueray and tonic. And I remembered that. It came to my rescue in a sense. But anyway, I thought of that story because I'm in that situation. I know what I like in a movie. And I see very, very few movies anymore. Probably if I had to name you know, Amadeus I like, and you know, Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. I know what and there's a few others. I know what I like. And they're put together artistically, but not so artistically as to draw attention to the art itself. I know what I like. And that's basically my credential in coming up with describing this movie, Resurrection. Bye for now.